afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on folks. It's me, LOH George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bobby Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Folks, can you believe it? Time is flying fast. We only have a few more days left of October. It's been about 3 weeks since the Olympia. We just had a couple of shows just finishing up. Just yesterday, today we had a show where we had a young lady qualify for the 2026 Olympia in the figure division. And this lady here competes in the figure. She just competed last weekend at the Hurricane Pro. She is not just only a professional bodybuilder, she is an Olympian, also a cancer survivor. She is the lovely Mrs. Florencia Hunt, and she's here to share her story, her path of what got her started is a bodybuilder. So welcome, ma'am, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All righty, I appreciate it, folks. So one thing what makes this interview great for me because she's here in my home state of North Carolina. North Carolina, it's great to get opportunity to compete with, to talk to someone who lives here in my home state, in my backyard. You know, quite a few ladies who I've done interviews with have come from my home state. But this is a question I'm gonna ask her first. Like, are you a North Carolinian, born and bred, or are you from someplace else?
Oh no, I was born and bred in the Caribbean, the island of St. Martin.
Ah, she has that lovely accent, like, yeah. So, yeah, wow, St. Martin to North Carolina. That's just your story. We'll get into that. So, this is a question I ask you, ladies. What got you started in sport, as I call it, muscle and masculinity? Please share.
For me, I got into this because of a dare. Believe it or not. I've been an athlete my whole life as a track and field professional athlete. And some things shift inside of my life where it retired me from competing in track and field. And because of that, I just came out of a situation health wise, and my girlfriend was like, "Hey, you want to do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, this is not for me." And she did bikini, and she dared me. She was like, "Just do it. You got nothing to lose. Just compete with me." So I pulled it off in 2 months, right after treatment. That's how
Hmm,
I got it.
yeah. And what was the condition that you're going through that kind of sidelined you a bit for a little
So
while?
after my Olympics in 2000, I got, actually, let me see, was it? Yeah, 2000. After the Olympics, I was getting ready for Beijing, the night next Olympics, and then I got diagnosed with cancer, and it ended my career literally. And then I just someplace like, okay, what do I do now? Then I have a plan or a vision on the direction that I'm going. It took me about 3, 4 years to get back on my feet, and then I came out of chemo, and she was like, "Hey, do this with me," and I was like, "Yeah." Then that she did me, so I said, "Okay."
Well, let's say thank you to your friend because if she didn't dare you, we get to have opportunity to talk to you. And you said you were Olympian 2000. Wow, I remember that. That was, I think that was the year. Was it year in Australia that year?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, yeah. And what was your what sport did you participate in
Track
that
and
year?
field. And my event was the 800.
That's one of the tough ones. I mean, you have to go around for a good while. I mean,
Just twice, just twice, just twice.
yeah. Well, for me, that's twice a little too much. I played for a sports team. I played football. We mostly run down, but yeah, we had to run. We had to do gases and we mess up. But yeah, that's quite a few ladies who are in bodybuilding had a track and field background. Most definitely, one lady who I can stick think of the 8-time Miss Olympia, Linda Murray. She was track and field star. Another lady I think of also Rika Jones, and also Mila Ash. There's quite a few ladies that's transitioned from that sport to bodybuilding.
Yeah. I think it's a good transition.
Yeah, because I've seen some of your track women, y'all built like stallions. Yeah,
Right.
because I think who were you on your team that year when you were competing?
Um, I ran for my country, so I'm not sure who was on the U.S. team, but a lot of times it's a difference between that. But I went to college, and 7 of my teammates from college went to the Olympics that year.
That's cool. I remember that year Marion Jones ran. I think that was the last year for Gail Devers, I believe, before she retired.
Correct.
Quite a few others. I mean, there was a I think Allison Felix was just about starting up at that time. I
Yep.
mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, I used to love watching, especially y'all track women. Y'all was just, but it's a sport that's I would say that's why I like bodybuilding and that because it's more of a pure human sport. Like no offense to like football, baseball. I also am a fan of MMA, mixed martial arts, but it's about as an athlete what guides you and drive you, especially as a woman in the sport.
All right.
Mhm. So after the 2000 and then after the diagnosis, what was life like for you? Because being a Olympian and then surviving this cancer scare and then finding bodybuilding, what was life for you after that?
Life was just moving. Um, Once I got diagnosed, I a lot of my time was spent in and out of the hospital trying to get a grab of all what's going on. So from chemo to surgery to radiation to not working to basically back on chemo, finding a balance. I have a son. Balancing him. I was a single mom. So it was just moving. And all I had to do is just continue to move the moving pieces and pieces of the puzzle and put things in place on a daily basis. But it was a time where I just feel like I was just existing.
Yeah, that's the thing is like my mother was also a single mother. Even though technically her and my father was still married for 55 years. He lived up in New Jersey. We still in North Carolina, and she had to raise not just one kid. She had to raise five others, counting my brothers and sisters, and that's tough to especially raising a boy because most definitely this is why I say like this. It takes a man to teach a boy to become a man, but a mother teaches the adult stuff, the stuff we need to learn. And I think, how old is your boy, and what's he doing now?
He's 18. He just joined the Navy. And
Ah,
he's a really good kid. I'm proud of him. I believe that I did a great job raising him, and I have a great family support and system. So with them and me by ourselves, it took that village to raise him to who he is today.
I can sense that because I learned, like I said, I learned stuff from my mother, but it was people like I had an older brother. My father had a older son, and I had my big brother, who was the one who really we talked earlier. He was the one got me into this whole thing with bodybuilding, and people like my uncle and my grandfather, they taught me the things I need to learn as a man, and it's good that you have that. It's good that, especially your family's still back in the islands, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. So what got you to come here to North Carolina?
Um, my career was track and field, so a coach came to my island that was doing exceptionally well. I was on France national team. I traveled on the European circuit for a while. I'm French. That's my nationality. I'm French. And I traveled for a while. I've did exceptionally well where I had records and a coach from the US came by and they wanted to talk to me and came to the US at the age of about 14, got a full ride through college, and it just went from there. I had a great career.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And here's the thing: is you're my second sister from France. I got to have an interview. I interviewed Barbara Majan a couple of years ago. As you know, Barbara just announced her retirement. Amazing lady. I mean, great physique. Yeah, she was for the last few years top four at the Olympia, but she's kind of slipped down. But now she's moving on to doing other things. Yeah, coming from Europe to the Caribbean to America, it's a lot. You've been around the world.
Uh, I must say, uh, I was blessed. Let's put it that way.
Well, like I said, my mom used to tell me, trust and believe, because God always has a way for anybody. So, what was that like that first time on stage? You got to think about it. Your girl dared you, and then you have to go on the stage. You had to put on this little suit, and you had to walk in front of these people half naked.
Well, that was not one of my concerns. As a track athlete, we are on a track in a bikini, so that was never an issue for me. And also, being from the islands, you live on a sunny island, you constantly not covered up. So that was not one of my issues. what I did, I was actually nervous coming from a top tier track and field to going on stage. I just couldn't remember what the heck I was doing. And again, I did it by myself. I just decided to just prep my own self, follow some guidelines, and do it. I did place fifth, and that show that I went to, and that fifth just did not sit too well with me, and that made me want to come back. Now I decided to do things smarter, better, in a different way, and I went from there. Got a coach.
Yeah, that's good because you know what, doing the sport, you have to find out the things that works for you the best. Now, you're a special kind of few people who can do it by themselves. While a coach, it's hard because sometimes there's some things you miss aesthetically because you know there's a particular look, a particular style. Now, what was the vision you were starting? Was it bikini or was it figure first?
It was always figure. I never fit in that bikini division because my shoulders was always broader on the side, so I always had a bigger upper body anyway. The fact that I just came off of chemo 2 months before the show, I was just a teeny broad shoulder. I look like a Y. So I was always
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think when it comes to aesthetics and genetics, it's about how your body functions, what things that the judges are looking for, you know, and with especially with a division like figure where it's been around for quite some time. It's probably one of the third oldest divisions in the sport of bodybuilding for women. You know, the look has changed and you know over the years. If you look at it right now, you said again we just had the Olympia about 3 weeks ago, and you had that you know you have a new champion. That's Rhea Gale, you know,
mhm,
who took over after Sid Gillen was dominant for practically, I would say, 10
eight.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
In the sport, it, oh, what did I say?
I agree.
Is there anybody in the sport that you follow as a competitor that you admire their aesthetics, their work, or just overall physique?
Sid has always been top of my athletes that I follow because she also had that track and field background. And a lot of things that she did or was doing, I was relating to because I've done it. And I liked her look, I like her physique. And my position, like when I figured, I end up in figure because I think figure picked me. I didn't pick figure. I just fell into that spot right there. Um, and I was willing to grow from that and watch everybody else, learn from everyone else. I coached myself for many years. I just had a nutritional coach, and it worked for me because I can push myself on a whole nother level than other people has pushed me before.
Yeah, that's good. You know, and who's your coach now? Who are you working with now? Is your main coach?
Jimmy Leach, he's down out of South Carolina. He's the fat burning coach, and I I randomly just met him actually. The same show I did where I was nervous and forgot the quarter turns. He left his athlete and came over to me. He was like, just take a deep breath and just do this. And I'm looking at him like, yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense. And then he gave me his information and we connected since 2016 to now. And he's just my nutritional coach, but he works for me. I think all coaches have to work for you. He understand my health situation, and we always put health first. So no matter what's going on, it's always health first. And I don't need a coach that breathe down my back. You give me a task, I execute my task. It just worked for me, and he is just that coach. A lot of people, it wouldn't work for a lot of people because a lot of people need someone to hold their hand. I'm okay with that.
I think it's especially coming from your background, being an athlete, especially a high level competitive athlete in track and field. It's different levels. Yes, I've talked to some ladies that their coach is more like their husband or you know that other man in their life. That they have a close bond with them. But then if you understand that this is a person that works for you, And
Mhm.
I respect that real lot. And I remember I was talking to a friend of mine. She was thinking about doing a show, but then her coach said, "Don't do the show." And I said, "You know what? You missed the opportunity. This was an opportunity for her to get Olympic qualification." I said, "Hey, you're paying this person to help you with your bodybuilding, and you had an opportunity. Understand you respect that person as your coach, but this is the thing is this is about you, and this is somebody whose job is working for you." We had here a shout to my man KL, the Wonder coming through. He shout out to him. He says, good afternoon, brother. How you doing? So, that thing is, it's a lot of work to bring that certain level, a certain conditioning shape. As you know, the visions have evolved over time because you've been doing it for a little over 10 years, just about, right?
Yeah, I started and I stopped. I started in 16. I qualified in 16 to go to nationals. Um, was it 16? No, I started in 16 to begin with. Then I had shoulder surgery. Then I had knee surgery. So I stopped for like 2 years. Um, and after that, I came back in 2019 and I went back to the same show that I placed fifth in 2019. I just had to go back to that show and prove to myself that I'm better than that. Qualified for national, got my pro card at nationals. So I got my three pro cards at nationals that 2019 year. I started competing in OCB. I did exceptionally well in the OCB Federation also. And then I just said, okay, well, it's time to make a switch.
Yeah, because OCB is a natural federation. I've know a friend of mine. She just made her figure OCD debut just about 3 weeks ago, and quite a few competitors are like you get your pro. I mean, you got your pro card at the Ben Weeders that was in 2021.
Well, which one of my pro cards? The
Which
IFBB.
is IFBB
I originally got my IFBB pro card in 2019.
2019. So you did the Ben Weeder in 2021, right?
Right, so I did the Nationals in Pittsburgh in 2019. And then I wanted to do my debut in 21, and they told me that I was with a whole another federation and I need to requalify again. So I went back to the bin reader and recollected the IFBB position.
Yeah, because OCB and NPC and IFB are two different federations. Either you're pro one, you can't be pro in the other because it's like I don't know, it's some issue. Because I know a while back a friend of mine told me that it was a guy who was actually he competed. No, he didn't compete. He was guest posing at another show in another federation. He lost his Olympia qualification because there's so many rules with the
Contract, because he
yeah,
a
yeah.
con-
Yes, this is contract issues. But the thing is, hey, he was trying to make a check because bodybuilding it's a not very lucrative sport.
correct,
Mhm.
correct.
Yeah. So, folks, where we got Flo here, we're going to jump into social media for a bit. If you want to follow her and check her out, the link is in the description out here. So, guys, I know she's a lovely lady. She's nice, very, 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 very polite lady. But you guys out there, I know because I'm one of you guys. I must have heard smell. I love these beautiful women. Be respectful. She got a kid. She's a nice lady. She's got a church this afternoon. Come talk to me. If we have problems, she's here in my home state. I'm gonna take care of it. Because you know what? Ma'am, I'm a natural born Southern gentleman. It's always my job to protect the lady. So we're gonna jump into her social media for a bit. So you want to follow the link? It's in your live stream. And here she is. As you know, she competed at the um, Hurricane Pro. And what was like there? Because this I think it was in what was this show in was
I,
it Tampa
I
or
St. Pete,
hmm?
Florida.
Hmm?
St. Pete's, Florida.
Oh, San Pete's. Okay, yeah. So what was that feeling there? That show. What was your feel? Because you did both the Open, you did the Masters over 40 and 45.
Correct. Uh, I went into this show with no expectations. I've been 2 years off the competitive level with anyone. I just had to take 2 years off to try to develop a body that I'm looking for myself. And in the process of that, I just went able to claim mine. I was not looking for anything. This time I competed for another reason. And it's just to prove to myself that I'm capable of doing anything that I want to do. And despite the odds that's usually stacked against me, I just look at it and say, hey, you know what? I'm not doing this for anyone. I'm doing this just for me. And that was it. So I was pleased with my package that I put together. I was definitely, I've grown in the 2 years in so many different ways, physically, mentally, emotionally. So this time it was just about Florencia. That's it.
Yeah. From this video and this pictures I seen, you look pretty impressive. I mean, she won second place in both the over 40 and 45, and she was in the 15th, around the 50, was in the top 15 at the open part because there was a lot of ladies. You know, a couple ladies. It was a couple ladies that just did Olympia maybe a couple weeks before. Here's just it's a little video here she has. You know, what to talk. So.
Good morning and happy Monday. I'm here to do my recap for this weekend Hurricane Pro. Didn't get to do it yesterday, was traveling. So today is the day where I want to, do my recap. As I do this cardio, I'm trying to get it out of the way. I am happy where I'm at mentally. This has been a journey for me. I want to thank God for keeping the faith because, you lose faith a lot of times, but I had to remind myself of who I am and whose I am. And He has definitely showed me that He's not done with me in any form of way. It's not just about bodybuilding, it's about life in general. And I've always trusted in Him first before I decided to do anything. Most of you don't know, this prep, I did it and done it on chemo. I just stayed quiet with it because a lot of times too much noise stop you from focusing on top of your goals and what you need to do and what's important for you to do. I always need a sense of reason, a sense of purpose to stay out of that rabbit hole because it's not a good place to be, and the frustration about everything else takes its toll. I had my challenging days where I have no energy, tired. Some of the side effects from the chemo is challenging, but I had to remind myself that it is part of the deal. That is my life, that is my normal, and I choose to do it different. Yes, it may be insane for people, but it makes sense for me. So, I developed a lot of skin issues on this chemo. It sucks, but it's a part of the deal, and I had to let it go. It made me uncomfortable and self-conscious about, revealing my skin. And that's actually was one of my feedback, that I need to smooth out my skin from the judge. So I told him, I was like, unfortunately, I can't do that. That comes from my chemo. He looked at me like, you what? I said, yeah. But I don't need to give that information in advance for any special treatment. It is just what it is. So I move forward from that. I'm glad I was able to make it to the finish line, which I always will. No matter what I set myself out to, I go and try to get it done. So I did Masters 40 and 45 plus on Friday. I placed second in both categories. And I was happy with my placement. I can see why I ended up second, and I'm content with that. I didn't come in with, again, any high expectations. I just need to see where I stand. And I placed second. First time doing a 2-day show. That was interesting. I peaked on Friday, and I could not peak again on Saturday. Again with my chemo, a lot of water retention, and my body finding adjustments to repeat back again. There's just too much going on with my body in order for certain things to fall in place the way they're supposed to. I did open on Saturday, and I placed 14th in the open on Saturday. Again, I was okay and I was at peace with that because I know I gave it all that I had. This prep has been more smart and not hard. So I had to work smarter. I came in starting this prep out with a knee problem. I have lost some consciousness in my knees. I was on crutches. I was in a brace for months. But I decided I was going to compete regardless of the brace, regardless of the chemo. And wherever I land, I land. But that's my dream, my goals, my determination, my will and mind. So I'm happy with what I got out of it, with all that I had going on. And I'm not here to complain about what I have going on. I'm here to just say, at the end of the day, we all have choices. And you have to be at peace and comfortable with the decisions that you make. Me is competing. It gives me a different drive to show me that no matter what happened in my life, health-wise, I can always push through it. Came in a little bit softer on Saturday. It is what it is. But overall, I want to say thanks to my support system, my team that's always just been there, quiet, even though they're not on board sometimes. They just let me figure it out. My coach has been a driving force behind this whole prep because he adjusted so many things in order for my body to regulate itself with being on treatment. So if you have to make modifications, he made them. And that has helped tremendously because you need the right person on your team as a coach that understands your situation. And that is the reason why I've rolled with him for this long, because it's always held first with him. And even though he don't agree, he'll let me know this is a situation. I don't agree. We need to make some adjustments. And we just come to an understanding. We got to be on board. Period. We got to be on board. But again, I just want to touch base and just let everybody know that it is what it is. I'm doing good. I'm happy. I actually was very happy stepping back on stage again and presenting myself of all the work that I put into. It's not for nobody else. It's really, truly for me. Just knowing that I can push through anything at any time and moment. I've always been an athlete first. Mr. Olympia qualified by one for the Masters. But again, whatever God will is, I accept it and I move on. And all the rest falls in place. But I'm always going to be happy with where I'm at and who I am as an individual first. So, thank you everybody for love, support, encouragement, and anything that you've touched my life with. I appreciate it. So, until the next time, peace out.
Yeah, well, man, I gotta respect your dedication. That's one thing about bodybuilding. You need dedication and discipline. Here she is with awards, taking second here in women's over 40, second in women's over 45. And what was that feeling for you when they announced that you were so close, just by a point?
Feeling for me was neutral. And the reason why I said that is because everything happened in this time. And I don't believe God is going to put you a place where he don't think that you're ready to be. So I accept that. I'm very accepting to a lot of things in my life. And I just don't think that God is ready for me at that time and moment. So it's, very neutral.
Mhm. Well, that's good because some competitors be like, ah, man, I just I got the judges. Sometimes it can be frustrating bodybuilding. as a sport,
It's okay.
especially.
But if you're doing it for yourself and not doing it for everything else that's around it, you're going to be at peace with it. I'm at peace with it because I do this for me. And wherever I land, I'm I'm happy. There's nothing to be fussing about. It's a subjective sport. Everybody knows it's a subjective sport going in. There's criteria, yeah, but it's subjective. And if you're not willing to accept the criticism from an individual, then maybe you're in the wrong place.
Mm, I mean, you give a good point because, but the thing is, a lot of people can be a little extra sensitive about things. Some
Yeah.
generations feel like they are supposed to get this or get that. But if you don't understand what's involved with it, the work you put in, the time you put in, here she is. Getting this is a little video she made where she's getting ready to train. Like, what's training like for you? What's like when you're in the gym? What's that thing you love the most about training, and the thing you like the least about it?
I like to work out in general. That's just I do that even if I'm not competing in bodybuilding. I'm always going to be in the gym. The gym is my safe haven. The gym is my peace. The gym is my all the problems go away moment. So I utilize that as my drive. So training looks like I'm enjoying it because I am enjoying what I'm doing. I'm visualizing me and the work that I'm putting into it and what I can get out of it.
hmm That's fair to say because it's a lot of work to diet, the training, being consistent, especially you dealing with your diagnosis, going through chemotherapy. I mean, for these videos, you look pretty amazing. And are these some family and friends of yours here?
Yeah, that's my mom and my niece.
Uh, what was that like for your mom when she ever been to your shows, ever seen you work out and train?
Yeah, they have. They're my parents are very supportive. I cannot say their love and support that I have is out of this world. And I'm grateful and blessed to be able to have parents like them. It's just words cannot even express how much it means to me. They've always stand by my side from day one, competing in track and field. And it doesn't matter where and what direction I go. They will be standing right next to me at all time. Even though they might not be like, they was like, oh my God, all these muscles, girl, you doing too much. Your body needs a break. My parents did all of that. But when it comes time to step up to the plate, they're there.
hmm Here's you with your boy. I know you're proud of
My,
him.
yeah,
Yeah, I see. This is
that's
why I
my
say.
twin sister. That's my
Yeah.
niece. That's my mom. I have a twin.
Well, I say this to anybody who serves our country. I don't say thank you for your service. I say, as a citizen, I appreciate the sacrifice you're making on behalf of this country, because especially for a young man, I mean, and this is you're your twin.
Yes.
Wow, yeah. That's double. That's double. And here's some pictures here. Also, she does a little modeling. Yeah, wow. I mean, ma'am, if I tell you you have a beautiful body, will I be lying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about society. When you look at women like yourself, who is a bodybuilder, they feel it's not traditional, especially you coming from the Caribbean, where the idea of real muscle is just not as the standard. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, that is so true. And a lot of us get more of a negative feedback. Or I don't want to even say a negative feedback. I would say usually people that are not comfortable or secure in themselves are intimidated by women that don't look the norm type of thing. I've always looked like an athlete. I've always had muscles, and I will always have muscles by the end of the day. That's just what I want for myself. And there are people that prefer to look more on the softer side, and I just respect that also. So it is not what society looks for per se, but it's not about society. It's about you and where you stand and what you see yourself for. That's it.
And that's true because you know what? You have to live for you. You can't live for nobody else. Doing the sport, and especially, doing these interviews, talking with you ladies. And as I said again, I'm a fan of y'all ladies. I think y'all beautiful. All women are beautiful. Like I said, I grew up with, I had three older sisters. My mother, I had jobs where I worked with women, all day. I used to work about 10 hours a day, 4 hours 10 hours a day, 4 days a week with ladies, and then at night, I worked another 5, 6 hours with ladies. I worked at a gentleman's club. So, every woman is different. Everybody's built different. No one's really the same. If we're
No,
all the same, it'd be boring.
correct.
Mhm. And muscles, especially being an athlete, muscle is the factor because especially when you're running, because you get 8 meter, you get 800 meters. You had girls probably on your same team that probably did the 200 to 100. They needed that muscle to propel and push themselves. It's the fundamental part about building your body.
Right. And
Mhm.
for me, it's very important because I believe this whole bodybuilding thing, I won't even call it a bodybuilding thing. I believe my journey in bodybuilding has mentally saved me, if I want to put it that way. Because I know the extremeness of this sport. It reminds me every time that I'm down and every time that I go to treatment, every time my side effects is kicking my behind, I remind myself how extreme I am to even do this whole bodybuilding thing. So it brings a sense of peace and a sense of excitement for me because it shows me what I am capable of if I put my mind to it. And I'm always going to push further than I'm supposed to push. I'm always going to want more than other people expect for me to get out of it, but it's not about anybody else. It's about what Florencia can do, what Florencia is capable of doing, and what Florencia enjoy doing. This journey is really and truly about me. It has nothing to do with anyone else. It has helped me to become a stronger individual because when I got diagnosed with it in my hip. So I had to make a decision between staying on chemo the rest of my life or amputating my leg from my hip down. Well, I chose to be on chemo the rest of my life. And that, so anytime things go sideways for me, I remind myself this is a choice I make. And I become at peace with it because I could have chose differently. But coming from a career of track and field and running, I just couldn't see myself as more of an amputee. I would prefer to see myself more staying on chemo the rest of my life than to do anything else. So this sport has definitely helped me. So even when I go through chemo and I choose to compete, it is my distraction of everything else that goes on with me. It's my, all right, you don't have a choice to sit down on this couch. You don't have a choice but to sit here. If you're going to sit here, you're going to be sick. You got 3, 4 days, and I need for you to get it together. These are just my self conversations that I have with myself. Because if you don't have a reason to push forward to, you're going to do exactly that because you beat down. You're going to stay on that couch. You're going to throw up. You're going to feel bad. You're going to go through all of that ordeal. And when you catch yourself, it's like a month, 2 months, 6 months, a whole year, and you're doing the exact same thing. I'm not living like that. I'm going to live to my fullest, the, regardless of the situation, and do the best that I can with what I have. And do not complain about anything. I have no time to complain about anything in life.
Yeah, that's a great way to see it because some people sometimes things happen in lives where it either break us down or build us up. Like I remember with my older brother, who I mentioned earlier, James. He passed away about 20 years ago. He was kind of the center of the family because he was the man of the family. When my father he went on his way and my brother had to step up. Especially for us younger kids, me, my younger brother, my nephews and nieces, and he was there. He was the guy who, if we like, if my sisters, if they needed something, like he was good at cars, he could fix it or something like that. Or he was my mother's right hand. I would say because he was the man. He'd get stuff off the truck if he needed it. But when he died, somebody told me he told me to say, George, God does not put no more than you can bear. It can either break you or bend you. Sometimes you rather be bent a little bit than be broken because it's tough. Like, and then, like I said, my mom passed away, and that was, I will say this, like your son, which he would greet me as our mothers, you are a boy's first true love. Girlfriends come and go, wives come and go. You can always get another girlfriend, you can always get another wife, unless you love your wife. But when you lose your mother, that's somebody can never really replace. Other than like, other only person I think that can probably share that same spot in the mother's heart for a man is a child, if he has one. I don't have any. I'm just me. And many ladies I've talked to, they found this sport. If you said again, it was your therapy. The gym was your place to go. It was a place to help you out with your training, with your diet. It really kind of saved your life a bit because going through chemotherapy, And some people say like this: it's not so much about motivation; it's about discipline. That's the most important part about bodybuilding.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Give her a few minutes, folks. She just blacked out for it. So here she goes. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and because discipline is the one thing about bodybuilding. You have to be consistent. You have to be disciplined. You have to be aware of what you're doing. And then mindset of most people when you look at bodybuilding, especially you see these muscular big dudes and women, it's like, hey, you're on some kind of stuff. What kind of page you take? What kind of steroids you taking? Yeah. But because you're on chemo, you're not taking any kind of performance enhancers, right?
No.
and and natural is a lot harder to do because you know what you have to. It takes you a lot longer because I've interviewed natural competitors. It does take you a lot longer to build the size and the muscle compared to those who do take performance enhancers.
Correct.
Mhm. So, so, so now, since you did the Hurricane Pro, this is like the first show for a year. Are there any plans for any more shows, or you feel like you just want to sit out and chill?
Well, it depends. I compete. I basically to jump into shows. I compete on how I feel. I'm going to see my oncologist soon, and if I get clearance and I'm okay, I might look for another show for the end again before the end of the year. And if they do not give me clearance, then I might shut it down. But I'm staying in a position where possibilities are. So if I'm still in a good position, then I have a possibility to compete. If I'm not, I still have a possibility to compete. This is just I make decisions last minute when it comes to competing. That's just how I am. I've always been that way.
Mhm. Well, ma'am, let me help you out a little something because one thing doing this content, and especially one of my favorite movies is Batman Begins. And there's a part in the movie where the character of Henry Ducott, aka Ra's al Ghul, is training Bruce Wayne. He tells him, "Be aware of surrounding young Master Wayne. Never give a sure footing for a killing below." There's a show coming up also in Florida, which is the Atlantic Coast. It's both open and a Masters. I don't
Hmm.
know if it will work within your time zone or not, but that's a possible suggestion. And also, um, first of next year is the Triple O Dynasty, which is being sponsored by one of my favorite female bodybuilders. She's my girlfriend, Andrea Shaw. I'm just a fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to tell you a true story. And it's a story I want to share with you. A friend of mine, Eunice, she runs her own company called Bad Rap. Bad Rap is they help promote the women's bodybuilding division at the Tampa Bay Pro. I was there just a couple months ago. She was at the 2023 Olympia and she met Andrea and she got me this issue of muscle development. And you know what my other half has to say, like this says, if you get something, never do it for free. And for me, this is my payment because my friend got it. She got it right after my birthday. And this is what makes it so what really fuels me when doing this content is when people like her, the current Miss Olympia, the top female bodybuilder in the world, tells me she appreciates what I'm doing. And she signs this and says she thanks me for my support. This is what fuels me. When people like a while back, I have a young man I met while I was in Tampa. His name is Alex. He was at the Olympia and he ran into Ashley Jones. I met Ashley while I was in Olympia, or was at Tampa because she was there helping one of her clients. She appreciates what I'm doing. When people like that tell me they appreciate what I do, this is for like you, how bodybuilding fuels you. It
Yeah.
fuels me when women like yourself tell me how they appreciate what I'm doing. Because you know what, people don't understand. And but I like I said, I can never be a bodybuilder, but understand what fuels you as an athlete. Because I've been an athlete myself.
Correct. And you don't have to be in the sport in order for you to understand. You got to just be willing and open to want to understand. So the fact that you've took on this journey on your own to encourage others or talk to others and hear this story, I think that's just your gift.
I appreciate that. I do. Oh, but some people, they're not always like that. This is my man KL, because he's a hater. He says, stop torturing us with the Andrea story. Please. Hey, you're like this. Hate no more. Because you know what? I'm gonna keep talking about this because you know what? She's a beautiful lady. She signed, she heard some of my stuff, heard about me, but she took time to sign that. And that was really tells me that I'm doing good work when people are appreciating what I'm doing.
Right.
So one thing I have to ask, especially being a big man like myself, especially after the show, it's tough. It's being on prep and that diet. Sometimes there's things that be calling your name. Tell me, share it with me, Florencia. Where's that thing that you wanted the most? That thing that you desired, that thing that was calling you.
Um, I'm a chocolate lover, so cookies, chocolate, and ice cream is always my top go-to immediately. Immediately. So I'll go and I have dinner. Dinner can be anywhere, anything. Um, After this show was all you can eat steak at a Brazilian restaurant. I love meat a lot. And then after that, I went for this, oh my God, to die for cookie butter ice cream, Jesus. So I got cookies and ice cream all at the same time. That was just, it was, oh my God, I need to go back to that spot. That spot was everything.
Well, like I
So,
said, if you do Atlantic Coast, I don't think it's too far from St. Pete. So you can check the map. Maybe you go back there again, with some friends and buddies. I mean, food is an important part of bodybuilding, but it's all depending on what you're eating. Not
right.
everybody can eat, you know, ice cream and cake while they're prepping. You have to be smart, like especially you have a teenager growing up. You had a kid growing up. I know when mom was cooking, he wasn't eating mom's prep food.
Oh no, there's big rules in my house. Do not touch my. You see my food prep. Don't touch my food. I don't care what you do. That's not
Yeah.
my. I don't care who you are. Don't touch
You
my food.
even your own baby say, "Hey, mom, I was hungry. I just heard, ooh, ooh, ooh." You're like,
No, we got a
mom.
no. We got a problem. You find something else to eat other than that.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling
And
folks,
I'm
you
a
get.
Taurus too. So when it comes to food, mm-mm.
Well, next month is my birthday. I'm a Scorpio. We. I remember the story of somebody told me this. It was a story of the Scorpio. Have you ever heard of it? It goes like this: there was a scorpion wanted to cross the river, but he asked a beaver, "Can you ride his back?" The beaver said, "No, you'll sting me." He asked the turtle, "Can I ride your back?" He said, "No, you'll sting me." He asked the frog. The frog was kind of hesitant, but then he said, "Okay, I'll let you ride my back." So when they went across halfway through the river, the scorpion stung the frog's back. As they're drowning, the frog said to the scorpion, "Why we did that? Because it's in my nature." That's what the
There
scorpion
you go.
said.
That
Yeah,
is true.
yeah. We have here this comes my man. He says, he says, "I'm not hating, but you're not congratulating, so you're hating." So like I said again, but yeah, that's the important part that you have your family that supports you. You have your
Yeah.
son, your friends, because this sport can be a lot for anybody. The training, the diet, the consistency. I mean, it has evolved over the years. If you look at the figure division now, as we talked about earlier about, we look at the top three competitors at this year's Olympia. I'm looking at some ladies who look like they should go up. Like I think I got a friend of mine. His name is David. He was there. He was doing the interviews. There was one lady. I think her name was Sylvia. She looked like she could have been women's physique. What you thought on it?
Hmm.
You just okay. Well, we keep that in mind. We keep to the side, But yeah, I think we talked about earlier about the criteria where then I don't know if the judges are sticking criteria like they're supposed to be, or some competitors will stick in a division where they don't really belong anymore. I think it's like anything, like you evolve as an athlete, as you grow and you change, your body goes through a process. And I think everybody needs to find a place that works for them. Like I said, you got in figure because it works for you compared to other divisions.
It have to be a happy medium. And again, I think the reason why I don't want to comment on that is because you as an individual need to know what you want for yourself. And we on the outside of the critiquers telling you where you probably needs to go, but you for yourself don't know that's the direction you want to go. So I don't dabble inside of that. I just tell somebody, I was like, hey, you know what? Fit wherever you need to fit. And if you land there, you land there. If you don't land there, then you're still making that decision that works best for you. This has to
Hmm.
be about you. And
Yeah.
in this sport, it is kind of a selfish sport because you take a lot of time, even with your family, your friends, or whatever. You take a lot of time to just do what you need to do in order for you to make it to that stage. So if you don't have a good support system where they understand, like, hey, you know what? I can't go out to eat with you today, or I can go out to eat with you today, but we're gonna sit down, or you pick and choose your battles. So you have to know what works for you and what direction you're going. And being selfish is not always a bad thing. It's just helping you get to where you're going based on your goals that you have.
That's understandable. We had a comment from my man. He says he's always doing this. He always says, "You're always talking about the story for how many interviews?" Well, for each person, it's different from them. But you're always here watching. And you listen to it, aren't you? Yeah. So be quiet. And also, he has a question. He says, "What? It said, what is like walking in those stage on those high heels?"
I just take on a character. And I just tell myself, I was like, hey, you know what? These shoes are just supposed to walk me across the stage and keep it moving.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's part of your gear. Especially when you're running, you have shoes, you have this. It's part of
Hmm.
your gear. There's one thing about this, especially for the women. There's expense to be a competitor. For the guys, I say this quite often. The guys got to wear a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts. That's about it. You ladies, you have to combine your femininity plus your muscularity. You have to bring in presentation. You have to be very beautiful, but these buff, muscular women, these goddesses that come on stage and all shiny and bright, like you just came off of a long hard prep. And that's the thing about this. This sport is not as, if you look at it, even track and field stars do pretty good for a living, outside of sport. But as a bodybuilding, it's not as lucrative because you said again, the cost of your shoes, the cost of your suits, the cost of your coach, the cost of going to shows, hair, makeup, everything. Are you sponsored as an athlete, or everything's on you?
Everything is on me. I wish I was sponsored, at least with supplements. That would also help because we take a lot of supplements, the protein shakes, the food, the pre-workouts, the whatever supplements that we take. They're costly. It's just what it is. But no, everything is left. I wish I was sponsored, but no, I'm not.
Well, I think sponsor does help. It's about the right people who want to sponsor you. Because, like I said again, Florencia, as you know, my crime is I'm a muscle person, and I have heard stories from both sides, from the women and the men. Because the guys, like, you're a beautiful chocolate buff woman like yourself, Flo. Yeah, yeah. But that's the thing is, guys, you gotta be respectful. Like, this is what if I could do this, I would love if I had Jake Wood money. Show just reaching Jake Wood. He decided to pay the competitors who did not get their pay at the Masters Olympia this year. And shout out to Jake. I'm a fan of Jake. Yo, Jake. I want that money. I want that gun. He was the man who came up and saved women's bodybuilding. But if I could do this, if I had the means and the ways, like I would say, said, Mrs. Hunt, we are interested in your story, being a former Olympian, a cancer survivor, a professional bodybuilder, a mother. I mean, what can we do to help you get to that next level? We have a plan for you. If it's something that interests you as a competitor and as an athlete, we'd like to work with you. But it has to be something that you feel comfortable with. So let us know and we'll set it up for you.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, sounds good. And what you do for a living? Because that thing is bodybuilding. You gotta pay to play, especially as a master competitor.
I'm a personal trainer, and I do taxes through depending on the time of the season, tax season.
Yes, because it's
But
about that.
mostly personal trainer. I work with a lot of young kids also to get them prepared for the baseline in their sports and whatever sports that they do. So I'm a fundamental also coach.
Yeah. Well, have you ever thought about, do you do any competitors too, or you just mostly focus on like competitive
I
regular people?
I
Or
have I had a couple. I had a athlete competed about last month. Last month I had an athlete compete. I'm prepping. two other athletes to compete. Maybe in like December or February, we'll decide it.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good thing. It's with being a coach and a trainer, it frees your time up a little bit. But still, as a bodybuilder, he said again, you don't have much time like you used to. You can't go and do this because I've talked to ladies that sometimes this sport can affect their life, especially when it comes to relationships, friends, family members. I know a
True?
couple of ladies told me they got divorced because they doing a sport that's very extreme, and sometimes the husbands don't like it.
Correct.
Yeah.
It usually happens like that, and I've seen that in so many relationship of my friends, and I think a lot of it happens with when the woman is the competitor. If it's the male that is the competitor, it's not too much of an issue. It mostly happens when the women is a competitor as they see the women transition and change and look a certain way. Their mindset of what their partner's supposed to look like is not ideal for them. But again, you don't look like this 24/7. You look like this to make stage. You look like this to prepare for a competition. And then you go back to your normal life. So you need to have a supportive person on board that understand that. But for me, I I cannot speak for everybody else. It's I'm gonna do what works for me. It's my life. I choose to live it how I choose to live it. You can't live your life and my life at the same time. So, to each his own. And I'm not telling anyone what to do or what not to do. I just know what works for me. My life is too short for me to focus on anything negative energy.
Yeah, yeah. Worry about yourself and try to satisfy somebody else. Because that's the thing is, if you're not a person who's open and willing to accept somebody who they are, then you don't need it. I never been married. I had relations, but not relationships. I had some good times with some nice young ladies. But you know what? It's good that you found what you want for yourself out of this sport and out of life. It's the most important. You have to do that for yourself. If you don't, it can be, you know, here we got a comment from a man. He's been sticking in here. He's a fan. Shout out to my man, KL the Warner said, she almost looks like Shirley Lee Ralph. I think she's from the Caribbean too. I think she's
Yeah, St. Martin.
yeah. Oh, same place.
St. Martin.
Oh wow. Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, that's great. So,
Focus.
mhm. Also, he has a comment here. Shout out to my man KL. He says, "I think, in my humble opinion, the reason why a lot of husbands don't want to deal with the competitors as a spouse because it is a lot of focus in the competition journey." Yeah, but the thing is, unless you're a person who wants to stand by that person when they focus, like many times as men, we do things out here in the world. Our wives, our girlfriends, our mothers, they stand by us. But when they do something, we should be even to stand by them. Put our ego aside for a little bit. And as long as you know this is the same woman that you're with that supported you while you're going through these stuff, you should be able to support her. But we all know society always has different view when it comes to men and women in certain situations. And again, with bodybuilding, because it's truthfully, it's fundamentally a man's sport. If you saw at the Olympia, Derek Lawford walks away with $600,000, while Andrea gets $50,000. You know, the Olympia. I call it the Olympia, but they call it Mr. Olympia. Mr. Olympia is the title. The show is the Olympia, but Mr. Olympia is the title. But it's just that people, again, are not always going to come through the idea of women building muscle. Even if, like, you look at the girls in bikini now, even they have a little bit of muscle where it can, be a little bit, But here the thing is, if you understand this is an athlete and this is part of their sport, and again, you're not always in that shape, you're not always ripped and shredded. That's how some of you guys be like, y'all ripped and shredded. But we understand this is what is part that you bring in as an athlete.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's the thing is you have to respect the fundamentals of the sport, the discipline, the consistency, the persistence. You know, this sport can be for anybody who's not in it. It can be mentally, physically, financially, emotionally draining, and you have to make not so much the sacrifices, but investment into what you want to bring as a competitor.
Correct. And that's all it boils down to by the end of the day.
Yeah. So, folks, we're not going to hold this lovely lady too long. I mean, she had a busy week. She took some time to talk. I know we were going to do the interview yesterday, but several things happened, guys. So, we can be patient. Doing this for a while. I'm patient with your ladies. I'm not like, hey, what she tells you. No, okay, I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm cool. Okay, I'm cool. I'm cool. Okay, I'm cool. But here we got here. Shout out to my man K. Ever Wonder. He said this. He says, "I like women with muscle as long as I can see femininity on that athlete." Yeah, I think every woman's gonna be different. Again, if you look at someone like Andrea, you look at someone like Sid. I would say they're most feminine, very aesthetically pleasing for the divisions. But like I said, not everybody's going to be your cup of tea, and it's
Right.
about what you bring.
Right. It's from your point of view.
Yeah, and it's about this. You enjoy the fundamentals of working out and training. What do you feel like is your best physical feature? If you're looking yourself down, up and down.
So for a long time, I denied my shoulders because I just felt like my shoulders was way too big genetically. So I would not work shoulders or work back. But I've grown to love them the way they are because it's something that a lot of people want that they fight to get that they can't get, and I naturally have it. So I would say my shoulders would be. I do like my legs just because I coming from a career running, but I could combine those two together. How about shoulders first?
Well, I think from what I saw from the video and the pictures, you have some great shoulders. Your legs are great. I mean, everything about, you are a very impressive lady, especially for a woman of your age, your background, what you're going through. I think that's where I do this content because I respect what y'all ladies do. Yes, I'm a fan of the whole power of the muscles like that, but I also respect your fundamentals, understanding what is involved in the sport. Most people, again, wouldn't be able to be as open minded about it because of what society views when it comes down to women because you're supposed to be like right. So you live in North Carolina. I'm in North Carolina. I will live most of my life. We're supposed to be softer, daintier. You get the girls with like, you know. I used to work at a strip club, and the girls used to make good money with the big booty girls. But every woman's different. Not every woman's built the same, and you have qualities about you that you like about yourself, and that's good. You should respect that. Shout out here to my man KL. He been sticking in here. Shout out to him. He says, "Some tea I'm not trying out." Well, maybe it's not meant for you, but it's meant for somebody else. So again, man, we're not gonna hold you too long. I know you're a busy lady. You got a busy day. What would you say will help you in your process in bodybuilding?
What would help me in my process in bodybuilding? Love what I do. Staying consistent to what I do. Reminding myself who I am. Reminding myself of what I stand for. Knowing who I am and what I stand for and my value. Those things has always been my drive. And I think mine just switched over from one sport to another. So in bodybuilding, it's just staying on track with everything else and doing it until I feel like it's no longer necessary. And regardless of bodybuilding or I pick another sport, I'm going in with all hands on deck.
They respect that. They respect that. Here, my man here, it said he's a hater. He says, "Ass kisser." I'm not kissing ass, son. Like my man Doc Holliday, son. I'm a Southern gentleman. Sometimes you have to treat a lady like a lady. So, like Doc said, and you daisy if you do, daisy if you don't. But I ain't no daisy. You get more with your sugar with your tongue than you get with salt, boy. So you gotta tell him that. So yeah, he's from New York, New York City. Those New Yorkers are a little rough. We're not as rough down here, man. We've been lying around enough. A man would tell you, say, "Ma'am, Miss Hunt, ma'am, you are a beautiful woman. I just want to tell you that. I just want to let you know. Out of respect." But that's the thing is, like again, not everybody is going to be your cup of tea. Not going to be theirs. You
Okay,
have to do, yeah, you have to do for what's for you. And
correct,
you found this sport is a thing that helps you in your process and living and surviving. Everybody finds something that helps them in life, and once you find it, you should enjoy it. And whatever blessings you got and faith you believe in, that's important to you. So,
correct.
and I say this, guys, if you reach out to women like this, you get more with Silk Glove then with an iron fist, I know what you're doing with that iron fist. Okay. So we got here from a man. Um, it says, "Well, I do kiss some ass literally." He's a problem child. He's a problem. So again, he's New Yorker, New York City. They're just not right up there. They're just not right. So, ma'am, I'd like to thank you for your time. I wish you all the best.
Thank
What
you.
would you have anybody you want to shout out to while we have you here?
Um, yeah, so my support system. A lot of them know who they are. I don't have to specifically, verbalize who they are. But my ride or dies are always there. My family has always been there. My son, my surrounding, my best friends, my partner. These are people that my church. These are people that just stand by me because they believe in who I am as an individual, and I stand by my morals and my values. And that's I want to just say thank you to them. Most of all, I wouldn't be this far and got to this point without the grace of God.
That's good. That's important. And those people that stand by you, know who you are, support you in this path. That's good. God is in your
Can I
corner.
hear
And
you anymore?
what? You sure can't hear me? Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
you went out.
Hello? 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 Something going on? Oh, oh. Can you hear
Oh
me?
no,
Wait a minute. Is it me or
you
you?
went completely out.
Wait a minute. Give me a second. It might be something on my. Can you hear me now? Hello? Oh, what's going on? Um, well, I don't know what this is. This might be something technical. Let me check it real quick. Hey, I hate this shit happens in the middle of a good interview. Uh, it might be
It
something.
whatever it is, it's on your end. Because I
Yeah,
think you can hear me. Can you hear
yeah,
me?
yeah. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, but I
Ah,
can. I think it's on your end. So something happened. Maybe unmute your phone. Maybe your phone is on mute.
I don't think it's on mute. It's just my lap. Uh, it's my laptop. That's what it is. Um, let me see. Let me see your message. You get it. Um, all right. I just sent you a message. It might be something.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. All righty. So all right.
Bye.
All right. End and end.